Cool. So today we're going to be doing exclusion brainstorming. So can somebody please help me pass these out?
Right here.
Thank you. So during exclusion brainstorming, students will be able to identify key terms and vocabulary related to a text and make new connections and associations between words. So in the packet that you guys are all getting, there's going to be a word bank at the bottom. Eventually, we are going to read an article as a class with those words included. Some of the words in that word bank will not be included in the article. So, the title of the article is The Big Bark, When and Where Were Dogs First Made Pets? So, right now, or whenever you guys get your packets, take this time to take a few seconds just to circle any words that you think are going to be in the article before we go ahead and read it. Not all of the words will be included. Okay, it seems like a few of us are making a little bit of headway with this. So, can anybody share with me a word that you guys circle that you think might be related to the text based on the article title?
Discovery.
Discovery. Why do you think discovery would be an article about where dogs first became our pets?
So in the title it says when and where. When and where were dogs first made pets, so like the discovery of finding that information.
Okay, good. Does anybody else have another word?
I circled hunters.
Hunters. Why do you think hunters?
Because thinking about like dogs, like wild dogs, I would assume that's where dogs started from before they were domesticated and that they were hunters.
Okay, good, good. So on the next page, everybody can flip to the next page. This is where the article begins. Again, I'm gonna steal from Aiden. We're gonna do popcorn reading. So I will read the first few lines and paragraphs, and then I will call on somebody else, and then you guys can help us take this home. So, the big bark, when and where were dogs first made pets? Los Angeles. Where did dogs come from? How did they become to be pets? For more than 100 years, also guys, I forgot to mention this, I'm leaving the word bank up here. If you see any of these words within the article, circle them. Where was I? Where did dogs come from? How did they come to be pets? For more than 100 years, scientists have argued over this question. Recently, the conversation has turned into a dog fight. Scientists know that dogs come from wolves, but where exactly, when, and how are the big questions. Some experts think that our ancestors were two small, furry wolf pups, but they took in wolf pups as pets. Other experts think dogs were raised as food. Okay, does somebody else want to take over? Aiden.
Hunter's best friend. Another theory says that hunters used the early dogs as helpers. This was long before people figured out how to raise goats and sheep for food. Now, the question of how dogs became man's best friend may finally be solved. A new study says that the dogs came from Ice Age Europe. This was 18,800 to 32,100 years ago. That's much earlier and much farther north than scientists thought. Scientists look closely at the DNA of 18 ancient dogs and wolves. DNA contains information that guides how living things develop and grow. The scientists then compared the ancient DNA with DNA from modern dogs and wolves. Popcorn, Rachel?
The scientists say that dogs came from an ancient European wolf. These wolves died out a long time ago. Dogs do not descend from modern-day wolves. The early wolves probably began following groups of hunters. They wanted the dead animals and scraps of meat left behind by the hunters. At first, the wolves and people probably kept their distance. The wolves were large and dangerous, said Robert Wayne. He is a scientist at the University of California. He worked on the study. After some time, wolves became part of human communities. Maybe they even helped people find to hunt. They also may have chased wild animals away from humans, Wayne said. Popcorn, bond between dogs and humans. Gianna.
Until recently, experts thought dogs were tamed less than 13,000 years ago. They also thought dogs were from either Eastern Asia or Middle East. One key finding was that an archaeological dig in Israel, archaeologists found the skeleton of a man cradling a puppy. The man lived 12,000 years ago. The special bond between dogs and humans has existed a long time. Tracing where and how wolves developed into dogs is very difficult. Ancient dog bones are hard to tell apart from wolf bones. Dogs and wolves are often mated. That also complicates things. Popcorn, Gabby.
In fact, Charles Darwin believed that dogs had more than one ancestor. He thought this because there were so many different dog breeds. Darwin also considered the father of evolution. Evolution is a study of how living things began and changed over time. Darwin died in 1882. Researchers now think that dogs evolved from only one ancestor. Likewise, the first dogs came from one region of the world. Studying dogs is definitely harder than studying humans, said Larson. Larson is a bioarchaeologist in Great Britain. Bioarchaeologists study animal bones found in archaeological digs. Larson said the discovery is more important. It's been hard to pin down the origin of dogs. Scientists have come up with crazy ideas about where dogs came from and how, he said.
People want answers to the question. Other scientists strongly believe that Wayne is wrong. Peter Savolainen is one of them. He is a professor in Sweden. He thinks dogs came from China. They were probably a source of food. There are strong feelings about the issue. Popcorn. And Ashley?
People make up complicated stories about where humans come from. These stories are based just on a few ancient bones, said James Serpell. He is a professor in Pennsylvania. I guess we're doing the same thing now to our dogs. He said we view them as members of our families. We want to know where they came from and how this relationship came about.
Alright, so back to the first page. Look at your word banks. Based on what we read, if you guys were circling or not, go through the words again and decide, okay, are some of these words in the article? Are they related words or are they unrelated? Even if these words are words you originally circled, cross them out if they're not included. And if they are related to the text, circle them. 1 minute for you guys to do that. And if a word is related, write it in that key chart. Alright, so it seems like we're ready to move on just to keep this going. So here is an example of a completed word bank that I did. So these are the words that are circled are words that are related to the text. But I want to hear what you guys think. What were some words that you put down in the unrelated section? And why do you think that they wouldn't relate to this specific text? Yes.
Toy.
Okay, why do you think the word toy wouldn't be in this specific text?
Because it's about like where dogs came from, not like what they were.
Right, it's not about training dogs, it's about the history of how they became our pets. Aiden.
It said paws because paws is just like a body part of the dog. It's not really scientific, I guess.
Right, it's like a characteristic, it doesn't have anything to do with the history of them.
Yeah.
So, what are some words that were related? Are there any words that you guys learned that were new? Melissa.
Bioarchaeologist.
Bioarchaeologist. Did you notice in the text that it kind of explained what bioarchaeologist meant?
Yes. I did.
Yes. What was that sentence that bioarchaeologist was used in?
Said bioarchaeologists study animal bones found in archaeological digs.
right? So they study biology as well as, you know, the history of where animals came from. They do digs to find bones. So now that we know the skill, I would have you guys work on this activity. So you guys could work on another read, doing the same process, going through all of the words that are related, unrelated, and then with the words that you guys discovered, you would write a 5 to 7 sentence paragraph using those words. That's